Hey everybody, it's Kerry. I'm here for the weekly astrological weather report for July 12th through the 18th. I'm going to go through a little bit of a general look, then we'll go day by day real quick, give you the daily keywords, and then we'll be done, and you'll be moving on with your life. I hope everything is going well for you. Time seems to be moving really fast, and I know that's a subjective thing, but I wonder if you're feeling that too. All right, so if you're new to this channel too, I'm just going to quickly and briefly mention that I am a Vedic astrologer, VEDIC Vedic. That means astrology from India. We use the sidereal zodiac, which is matches up with the observable positions of planets in constellations. So if it sounds a little bit off from Western astrology info that you're getting, that's why. So check it out, see what you think. And other ways to connect with me, like I'm doing these weekly look aheads, but I also have my monthly forecast that I've been doing for decades. I write it. It's a written thing. It's on my website, planetaryinfluence.com. And also I read that out as a podcast. You'll find those audio podcasts of me reading the forecast here on the YouTube channel as well. I also work with people one-on-one. That's my favorite thing. I love working with individuals and families with their own chart and being a guide for this astrology life. So all of that said, let's look into the upcoming week. The chart I'm showing here is a South Indian version of a chart. I have a video on the channel of how do you decipher a Vedic astrology chart. It's in case you're wondering and you want to start looking and understanding what this map is about. I'll put a link to that for you. Okay, so I'm looking at things from my perspective. I live in Colorado, so things are going to be slightly different if you live in India or Europe. The positions of everything at sunrise is going to be slightly different for you. So I'm going with this. This is a very general look ahead. I'm not going with sign by sign. If you're an Aquarius, this will happen. This is just general stuff. So if you like to look at the charts, there it is. If you don't, just ignore it and listen. Okay, so the main themes of this week are Mercury is still retrograde all of this week. That retrograde goes on until July 23rd. Mercury goes into retrograde motion 3 times a year generally, and for about 3 weeks per time. And those seem to be times where we get a little wobbly, the communication, misunderstandings, technology. Maybe that's my feeling of things are going really fast as well. Mercury tends to be a speedy planet. It rules communication, it rules markets, it rules buying and selling of things, as well as learning and many other daily tasks. So when retrograde motion comes into play with Mercury, the speed of everything is variable. We can feel things are moving faster or slower, or they're more or less disorganized than we usually want them to be. So retrograde Mercury times generally are not for starting new things and forging ahead with a giant new project. So for this 3 weeks, it's a good time to go back to what you've started already, haven't finished. It's a good time to edit what you've written or created. It's a good time to go back to a plan that you might have had that got pushed aside, bring that back, see what your outline is, and get back into it. So it's a great time for all of those things, but not necessarily like blazing forth with a brand new project. Okay, and especially this week, right? We've got the waning moon right now as I'm talking, and then on I believe it's the Tuesday into Wednesday, we're getting into the new moon moment. So when the moon is waning and getting into that moment of the new moon, I feel it in my mental and physical energy. I feel like I'm tired. I'm overwhelmed easily. I don't really feel like doing the things. So if you're feeling that way, it could be due to the waning moon. And just like a Mercury retrograde period, as the moon's kind of coming into the arms of the sun for its monthly rendezvous, maybe isn't the time to start the brand new things. So good time to finish up things in the first few days of this week. And when the moon actually joins up with the sun at about 28 degrees Gemini, Mercury retrograde is right there, like a few degrees away. So really this is a week for reviewing, restyling, reviewing. So overall, that's the feeling. What else am I seeing? Oh, you know what? I mentioned this last week, how Saturn from Pisces is aspecting Mars, who's in Taurus, who in turn then is aspecting Ketu and now Venus in Leo. So when planets aspect, it feels like a push, maybe not like as hard of a physical push as we would have with a conjunction, but it's a feeling of attention. So Saturn's paying attention to Mars. And the closer those degrees get when they're coming into an aspect, I feel like the stronger the feeling is. So Saturn is at about 20 degrees Pisces at the moment. Mars is moving up toward 20 degrees Taurus. So that aspect of Saturn to Mars is building up this week. It's an applying aspect, we'll say. So that feeling of Mars wants to move. Mars likes to do things. He makes plans, he engineers, and he gets the materials and hires the guys, and they want to get it done. But then Saturn has doubts and wants more reassurance about details and where resources are going to come from. So with Saturn aspecting to Mars this week too, it might feel frustrating in the sense of the brakes getting applied to something that you thought was going. So that's the Saturn aspecting Mars feeling. That's a little frustrating. Let's go with the moon is waning and getting new, and we have Mercury retrograde. Let's not get frustrated. Let's, in fact, put the brakes on. Let's make sure all the details are there. Let's make sure we don't cause a mistake. Mars, then, aspecting the Venus and Ketu in Leo, especially Venus. Venus is the one that's moving forward toward the later degrees of Leo. So sometime next week that will be exact with Saturn aspecting Mars, who aspects Venus. But anyway, so Mars aspecting Venus feels like I want to do this. I want to connect with you. I want to build something with you. And so Saturn slowing that down and Mars not being able to project his fire into the situation of Leo, again, more frustration. So even though it feels like we want to do it, slow down, it's not quite yet time, is what it's feeling like to me. Okay, and the mistakes part, that's K2 in Leo. So Mars aspecting K2 can, like, if we push through when we're not really ready, or when we don't really have all the materials or answers to the problems, mistakes can happen. So just slow down. Slow down this week. All right, what else do I have for you as far as an overview? Oh yes, the other thing is, I've been talking about this for several months. Thanks for putting up with me. This is the very final pulse, partial pulse of Kala Amrita Yoga, which is when all of the planets are on one side of the nodal axis. If you're looking at my chart, you'll notice that RA and KE, Rahu and Ketu, are exactly opposite to each other. They are the nodes of the moon. That is the nodal axis. And you'll see that most of the planets are to the upper right of where they are in the chart. So this feeling of everybody being on one side of the room kind of is the sense of Kala Amrita Yoga, or its counterpart, which is Kala Sarpa Yoga. So we're coming into the end of that. With Venus having moved past K2's position, it's the full expression of that yoga is broken, or that combination is broken. The combination feels like this kind of pulsation of everything's flowing and I have my vision, and then all of a sudden I'm squeezed inside of a crowded train car, and then I'm suddenly out and I have ideas, and then everything gets jammed up. So if that's been feeling that way for you since April, May, June, that explains it. And this is the end. This is the end of that interesting combination. And we haven't had it from Rahu and Ketu being in these signs since 1859, I think. So that's kind of a long time. Anyway, what that ending means to me is it feels like a jailbreak a little bit. It feels like we will start having things flow forward again. So, yay. Last week, Venus actually moved past K2, and really, really kind of opened the door. Let's think about it as opening a door. And then by the end of this week, when the moon actually joins Venus and K2 in Leo, we're done with that cycle. So finish up things this week. It's a good time for that. Retrograde Mercury, ending of Kala Amrita Yoga, new moon, fresh start. Welcome home. That's my thumbnail. my overall feeling for this week is welcome home. And that mostly comes from Cancer, the sign of Cancer. I feel that is the sign of home. And the other thing that happens this week is the sun moves after the new moon. The sun steps a couple of degrees past and gets into Cancer. That's the 16th of July. So the sun joining Jupiter in Cancer feels like a coming home feeling, a welcome home feeling. And since we can't do any of our projects because of all the other factors, let's enjoy each other and some good food and nurturing ourselves, self-care. Self-care is a great plan for the week ahead. Being with people, enjoying some social time, maybe not worrying too much about progress this week. All right. What else? Let's just go. Okay, I'm going to go day by day, and we're going to look at each day. I come up with keywords for each day. They're intuitive. I'm looking at the nakshatra and the tithi and the day of the week and other things that I see, and words spill out into my brain. So you're getting them. All right, so on Sunday, Sunday is the 12th. The moon starts out the day at the very end of Taurus in the nakshatra Mrigashira. Soon after sunrise, really, the moon moves into Gemini. So for the most part this week, the moon is in Gemini Sunday, Monday, Tuesday, and then into Cancer on Wednesday and Thursday, and then into Leo for Friday and Saturday. So just really mainly 3 signs. Even though it's starting out there in Taurus, it's at the very edge. And this is still the waning moon. Moon getting darker. The word for Monday is wander slowly. Wander slowly. Having a slow theme already. And the nakshatra Mrigashira has a symbol of the deer, like the animal, a deer head. And deer wander, deer browse, deer graze. So give yourself that kind of freedom to wander slowly on Sunday. All right, Monday is going to be the 13th of July. Okay, there it is. Sorry. My program is He's old and sluggish. All right, so 13th of July, Monday, we've got the moon solidly in Gemini. This is Ardra Nakshatra, and this is the waning moon. We're coming into the new moon zone. So bring it home. Bring it home. Slow it down. Bring it home. You can't control what you can't control. That's the theme of Monday. Tuesday is the 14th. The moon starts out in Punarvasu Nakshatra, and this will actually be the new moon day. Before sunrise on Tuesday, the moon and sun join up. So you're going to see in the chart that the moon's already gone past because this is sunrise. So Tuesday, the new moon at 28 degrees Gemini, right with the retrograde Mercury. Look how close they all are, sitting there in the late degrees of Gemini. Our words for Tuesday are break open. Break open. Punarvasu Nakshatra is quite lovely. There's a lot of positive energy in Punarvasu. There's a lot of creative energy. There's a lot of movement. But again, remember that the ruler of Gemini, where Punarvasu sits at the moment, is retrograde. And the sun and moon are joined, and the moon is tired. So we might do our best just to find a crack of light. Break open. All right, then moon starts waxing again. July 15th is a Wednesday, and the moon is with Jupiter at this point. That's auspicious. Anytime the moon and Jupiter join up, it's really good energy, and especially when they join up in the sign of Cancer. Cancer is ruled by the moon, making the moon comfortable. Jupiter is exalted in Cancer, meaning he does his best growth work there. So for you guys, Tuesday and Wednesday might feel so different. Where Tuesday everything seems like you're barely kind of making it, and then things start feeling a little bit more flow-like on Wednesday. So level up. Wednesday is for leveling up. And remember, Wednesday is Mercury's day, and Mercury is retrograde. So if you do 25 different things and don't accomplish anything, don't be hard on yourself. It's not you. Okay, so then Thursday the 16th is the moon starts out the day in Ashlesha, but oh, you know what? I'm so sorry, you guys. I said wrong things. Let me go back. I'm going to blame this one on Mercury too. On Wednesday, the 15th, the day before that I'm showing you now, the moon is actually in Pushya and Ashlesha Nakshatra. So Pushya is in the middle of Cancer, and Ashlesha is at the end of Cancer. I'm kind of giving us both of the nakshatras that day because it starts the day in Pushya on Wednesday, but goes to Ashlesha pretty quickly. So for the most part, on Wednesday, we're having Ashlesha. So yeah, it might be a day for shopping, cleaning up messes, and leveling up. All right, now forward again to Thursday the 16th. The moon starts out in Ashlesha, very end of Cancer, but then quickly moves into Leo, and that puts it into Magha Nakshatra. So for Thursday, for the most part of that day, Magha is the nakshatra. And so we have a waxing moon, and the moon will actually pass by Ketu on Thursday. There's a lot, that really breaks that Kala Amrita combination I was telling you about. The sun will also move into Cancer on the 16th, Thursday. So a lot kind of happens on Thursday. Squeeze firmly. That's the key word for Thursday. And I came up with that one because of the moon moving through the Gandanta zone between Cancer and Leo. It always feels like a push or a squeeze or an effort. When the moon moves through there, if you have planets placed in that little zone in your chart, you might also feel that squeeze. So squeeze firmly. When you have something that's coming out of a tube and there's a blockage and you're squeezing it because there's a blockage, you need that pressure to get the stuff out of the tube. But you got to watch out for that break open moment when suddenly the gate opens and the toothpaste comes out, because you could get a big huge blob. So squeeze firmly. Thursday might feel like I got to do something that day that takes a little bit of oomph from me. It takes a little bit of extra effort. But just monitor how hard you're pushing, because you need firmness, but you want a blob coming out in the wrong time and place. So let's go to Friday, the 17th of July. The moon starts out the day in the very last shred of Magha Nakshatra and then goes to Purva Falguni, which is where Venus currently is as well. So the moon is coming up with Venus. If you look at things in the sky, I'm still being able to see Venus in the evening. So on Friday, there should be a really nice crescent moon Venus viewing. All right, so Friday is for reconnect and reorganize. Reconnect and reorganize. The Venus and the moon coming together whilst retrograde Mercury is still doing antics. We might not be able to get a lot done, but we can connect with people. We can get back to people. We can reach out, and we could clean up our area and make sure that when we get all of the little details ready and done, that we're able to start moving forward. All right, final day of the week is Saturday, the 18th of July. I'm trying to press it to go forward and it didn't. All right, so let's do it again. I'm being patient. Okay, there it is. Gosh, took forever. Saturday is Purva Falguni, barely, and then Uttara Falguni is the nakshatra of the day, mostly on Saturday. The moon is waxing at this point. We've got Moon and Venus past K2. They're about to run forward together and start creating new things. So resume routine is Saturday's keywords. All right, you all. I hope you have a good week ahead. I really appreciate comments. If you subscribe to the channel and keep watching, I love that. I'd love to tailor these to really work more for you. It takes me a long time to prepare for these and to actually put them out. So if I'm doing things that aren't really, working, let me know what I can do to improve or to give you better information, aside from doing a separate reading for every single sign, because I'm not going to do that. All right, you guys, have a great week. Thank you again for checking in and tuning in to the planets and to yourself. All right, take care.